Yo, it's your boy CoinStock here, back at it again, stuffing these duffel bags and collecting that cheddar. Before I begin, please don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor, I'm just a friend trying to educate you. Alright, today I'm going to be looking into the use cases, really, of zkSync and the zkEVM and how powerful it is compared to being a zk rollup compared to the optimistic rollups, right? So, let's go ahead, scroll on down. So there's types of rollups, right? Before we even get deep into it, we need to look at these optimistic rollups, correct? We need to look at what Optimism is doing. Well, not really what they're doing, but how they've been performing and how that can totally transition to zkEVM and zkSync. So let's just get into it, right? All right, so let's begin. So rollups are amongst the most promising types of layer 2 solutions, which is true, and they are becoming increasingly popular. However, because these solutions offload transaction calculations to a third-party server and store transaction data on the Ethereum blockchain, rollups are protected by layer 1. Rollups are available in two different varieties: zero knowledge, zk, and optimistic. Between the two forms of rollups, zk rollups and optimistic rollups, the process of verification is the most crucial difference, and you will see that there is a difference between zero knowledge and optimistic rollups, and we'll see an article in a little bit, just like a little blurb of what Vitalik had to say about it. So let's continue. So zk rollups will most likely win the rollup war. Zk rollups, which before we even continue on to that little blurb right there. So zk rollups, basically, the transaction has to be verified, right? But optimistic rollups, they assume the truth. They assume that something. So it could be a week later, right? It takes about a week, but it could be a week later with this optimistic rollup, and if it was proved to be false, they could take your transaction away from you like it never happened. But zk rollups, that's not exactly the case. Of course, you need more resources to do exactly what zk rollups do, but all in all, it's just a better look, right? But also, zk rollups are also more efficient than optimistic rollups in transaction rate. Although zero knowledge proofs take more computer resources than other options, zk rollups allow 10 times as many transactions as optimistic rollups. Now you're probably, okay, what gives? Well, DeFi projects, they care. They care about the transaction speed, how many transactions can be popped into one, right? And let's see if there's anything in the final thoughts, which there is. Hold on, optimistic rollups will be less popular with DeFi projects than zk rollups. On the other hand, it may take some time and congestion on the network for zk rollups to be widely adopted on DeFi, which is true. But once they get those chinks in the armor out of the way, taking some time and congestion on the network, boom, zk rollups long run, that's going to be the thing, because they are just absolutely scalable, and we'll see later in these articles. So this is enough of this article. I'm just going to scroll on through to so this is the rollup market share, right? Optimism and optimistic rollup. I believe Arbitrum is also an optimistic rollup, and really there's zero knowledge rollups, right? As we can see on this optimistic rollup chart right here, zk rollup chart, and these are the zk rollups: Loop Ring, Immutable X, Aztec, and zkSync real quick, but all of these real quick, and even Hermes too. Now, what you're seeing, the majority of them, like Loop Ring and Immutable X and Aztec, they do not have Ethereum virtual EVM compatibility, right? But zkSync and Hermes or Hermes, whichever you prefer to say, and some of these other projects too, they will have zero knowledge EVM compatibility. Man, I'm butchering that. zkEVM compatibility. So keep that in mind. Well, these other projects don't, right? So this is all part of the market share, right? Arbitrum has 964 million. Optimism has 907 million. And it just popped off in popularity too, right? With all these the projects coming in, boom, bam, boom. And SX network is actually on the Polygon Supernets, and that's something for a different day. But these are popping up, they're coming up, and they're gobbling up all the TVL, right? So let's look at Optimism real quick. The chart for Optimism, it was down here in the dump, in the nitty gritty, right? And like it kind of popped off right here, but then boom shakalaka, and now it's sustaining right around here. It's sustaining in the in the bear market. In the bear market, it's keeping its TVL. I ain't mad at it, and you shouldn't either. All right, so let's go to an article. This is what Vitalik had to say. As we know, when comparing the two scaling solutions of Optimistic and zk Rollups, Vitalik has opined that Optimistic Rollups will probably win in the short term for general purpose EVM calculations, but in the long term, zk Rollups will win in all scenarios with the improvement of zkSync technology. And not only that, with the zkSync technology, these rollups too will also improve when Ethereum improves. So it's just a win-win, symbiotic relationship. Now let's go ahead and look at these fees and such on these Optimistic and zk rollups, right? All right, so these are all the blockchain fees. It's just the fees on the blockchain, and it doesn't really, we'll look at the revenue later, but like Ethereum in 24 hours got 2.4 million. Binance, you get the point. These are all the 24-hour fees. And Optimism is right down here, 23,000 in 24 hours. Now you might be saying, oh, that kind of sucks, but I mean, these things are growing, and it's with heavy hitters like Polygon, like Binance Smart Chain, like Ethereum. It's definitely in the top 10, right? So of course it's just going to get more exposure, more improvements, right? And still $7,500,000 in 180 days. That's not bad. And of course the 24-hour trend is 8.1%, but like if we scroll to the right here, if I don't mess this up, yeah, it's trending upwards, I would say. Of course, I'm not a financial advisor or nothing, but yeah, I mean, and Arbitrum too, like it's also seeing this, but they're Optimistic rollups with, well, they have EVM compatibility, but that could easily be done by the zk rollups or zkEVMs, excuse me. So let's look at the revenue, right? The revenue, I mean, looks nearly the same, but the difference with the revenue is where it's funneled for the users, right? People that hold these tokens, or just for the ecosystem in general. And like revenue in 24 hours is 3,900, and you're like, big whoop, right? But yet again, they're locking up more TVL, and once it gets more exposure, more looks, right? Then boom shakalaka, that's more money in people's pockets, like 1.8 million in Ethereum, 64,000. And these are just 24 hours. I could totally see these, coming up the list because they're, yet again, applying like Ethereum's tactics and all that stuff. Like it's literally going to the Ethereum blockchain, and people want the cheap transactions and such. So yeah, right there, 2 million in revenue. And that's just Optimistic rollups too, which is the crazy part, right? So let's go ahead and look at zkSync Twitter. All right, 4 days to zkSync 2.0 on mainnet, with just days left until our mainnet launch. We're excited to see so many projects join the zkEVM revolution by launching on our platform. Here are another 5 updates from our fast-growing ecosystem. So they got the wallet, right? Get Block Wallet announced that zkSync 2.0 testnet has now been added to the list of default networks for the privacy-first self-custodial Web3 wallet, and explained why they're excited for our mainnet launch. That's one. NFT marketplace is coming to zkSync testnet 2.0 testnet, Mint Square NFTs. Automate Network confirmed that like the RPC, their free RPC relay that has privacy protected over 600 million requests to date, will continue to support zkSync 2.0 after our mainnet launch. Try it out on our testnet with the link in their post below. All right. Argent HQ outlined 5 key features of account abstraction to explain why it's a genuine breakthrough for crypto. zkSync 2.0 is the only zkEVM zk rollup with native account abstraction. And OKLink announced that their Block Explorer will be available on zkSync 2.0 after our mainnet launch to provide accurate real-time network data to our fast-growing ecosystem. And they're not wrong. If you want to join the growing ecosystem of projects porting to or launching on zkSync 2.0, get started on our testnet today. zkSync, right there. If any of you want to join, you can go to their Twitter. Now, what this shows right here is that people want to be a part of the zkEVM revolution. They really want to join, and especially Solidity Code 2. There's just so much, right? So much going on, right? But I mean, all in all, boom shakalaka. And here's the zkSync page, right? We're not really going to look through it. It's just zkSync.io if you want to go to it. But I do want to look at the chart. So here are the differences, right? So there's state channels, there's side chains, plasma chains, optimistic rollups, Validium, and then there's zk rollup. And zk rollups can do all of these things, right? Where, people have they have differences on what they can and can't do, right? But what really catches my eye is that max throughput on ETH 1.0 is 2K transactions per second compared to max throughput on ETH 2.0, which is now 20,000 transactions per second. So like I said earlier, the ETH, when ETH improves, these rollups improve, right? And like, of course, Optimistic Rollups has done the same thing too, but I mean, like vulnerability to hot wallet key exploits is actually moderate compared to immune and zk rollup. There's just so many benefits to the zk rollup compared to optimistic rollups, and especially when you get in the EVM space. And also another thing too, zkSync has first mover advantage too. So I mean, there's that. Take your pick. Of course, Polygon's going to come out with its own zkEVM, but we'd have to wait and see. And yet again, with the layer 2 TVL total, I mean, yep, it was down in the nitty gritty, right? But bam, boom shakalaka, it boosted up. And I mean, it stayed relatively in the same TVL compared to other things. Like Solana, it went down. I mean, down, dirty down. But here, look at this. It's sustaining itself, especially when these new optimistic rollups come up, and you see Arbitrum 1 and Optimism up here, and then like Metis, Loop Ring, Immutable X, zkSync. I could totally see it coming right up here or right over here. You never know, I mean, crypto's a crazy place. Everything's a mile a minute. But yeah, all in all, I think this space has room for improvement, and I feel like zkSync will definitely make people millionaires. But I'm not a financial advisor. Do your own research. But yeah, my friends, that's all I had to kind of talk about zkSync. I'm probably going to go more in depth in another video, but I just wanted to show you like the impact of it all, right? But well, I know anyway. I'm just trying to keep you up to date on the down low. But I guess I'll see you guys later.